Good afternoon or late afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Kasamali A. Somji Auditorium right here at the Aga Khan University, which I'm sure was extended to you earlier on. I will admit, I am definitely out of my depth. I am in a session that I know very, very little about. I have read about some of the things that have been mentioned. I have heard a lot about what has been mentioned. I have watched a lot of these cases on the television screens. But the reality of it from practitioners such as yourselves in a session such as this brings to light the gravity of the situations that we're dealing with. It brings a lot to mind. And those of you in here dealing with it each and every day, talking about it in this sense, how it reflects to us on the other side of the screens of the radio. I do not know how to really define that as I think of remarks to give on such a session, because I really do not know much about this area. However, the question remains and is embedded deep in the theme. Transition from where, transition to what? It's a journey. To what? It's a journey. Exploring transitional justice efforts in an ever-changing world. For us in academia, we can see that this is a very affluent statement that really doesn't give us any form of conclusion, that it is a continual process that we must investigate and inquire and search. The only constant we know is change, and that's what is said within here. The question is, as was said by one of our speakers, so now what? What happens after this? After we sit together, we have shared great ideas, we feel motivated, we feel encouraged, we feel enthusiastic, and we have a nice cup of tea or juice and whatever other snacks we have there, and we leave the gate. What happens then? It's in your hands, ladies and gentlemen. We are not in that field, but we hope that you will be able to guide us and the systems that exist to move us towards some form of equity in this world. We have among us, and I'll ask them to stand, students. Riara, I think, we do have you here, yes? USIU, where you? Stand boldly, stand courageously. Any other students of law at the moment? Please stand, let us recognize them. Thank you. We recognize you. We thank you. You have mentors here. You have guides here. I would encourage you to make sure you catch up with them later on. Get a card from them. Learn something from them. It's a small space. And the saying is, your network determines your? You know it. Your net worth. Exactly. The pocket must be well for you to serve. That is no doubt. We have discussed many things today. Definitely. Obligations, transitions, thresholds, lessons, and the tide, which wanes and wanes, yes? Up and down. As I was mulling this over in the back of the room, listening, there is the statement from Martin Luther King who said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." That is the good part. We know it will eventually bend towards justice. But like any piece of cold steel, we must hammer it constantly and bend it towards justice. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, mine is to say thank you for coming and joining us, to say thank you for those who brought this program together, specifically Wayamo Foundation, Bettina, Ambach, director, we are here with us still? Oh, that's you. Hello. The Africa Group for Justice and Accountability, Fatiha, we have you here. Hello. Hi. We thank you all very much. I will not go through the list of everybody else because we have had many dignitaries at all sorts of levels. But I want to extend a specific one to Judy Kaberia, who is our faculty member. And when I say our faculty member, I also serve within the Graduate School of Media and Communications. And I want to also acknowledge Dean Nancy Booker, who was here earlier on. We can recognize her in absentia. And the connection of the fourth estate to such a panel like this is what? We heard how certain countries get certain notoriety or get headlined. There is the saying that the squeaky wheel is the one that gets oiled. So it's those who make noise, those who are heard, those who communicate the most. And that is the role we play in that space of media. How does this story get out? How does it get captured? How does it get archived, shared, to be able to give you the evidence, to give you the stories, to help shape justice towards this end? We want to especially thank each and every one of you, the various human rights organizations and the representatives therein, the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions, our law students who we've acknowledged, our special guests, speakers, panelists, lawyers, judges, and human rights activists. But very importantly, those who have given us the fuel to be here for these 8 hours, our caterers, those, I hear good yes, eh? Good. And that being said, we apologize for the tea at 3. We felt you had not yet digested your food, so we postponed it to now. So there'll be merrymaking after this session. So I'm in a very dangerous spot between the ending of this program and the meal next. That being said, we were glad as Aga Khan University to be able to partner with you. The African proverb that says that if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. So that is why we're here. That being said, asante.
All right. Okay, I know everybody's tired. I want to be very short. I just want to leave us with a small summary of the different ideas and just want to mention a few points of the day. And for sure, I will not mention all of them, but just what resonates to me. And I just want to remind us how we started with a very inspirational talk of Zainab for our Sudanese colleagues in the room and to continue the fight for a democratic and civilian Sudan. That's how we started, and in fact, that's really the reason which all brought us here. I also want to mention a few thoughts that there is a positive trend in transitional justice mechanisms because we can observe more inclusion of victims. And perhaps that also may, about the momentum, be something which we could retain from the momentum side. Then that there's now also more local ownership which can be observed, and that we absolutely need this comprehensive approach where international, regional, and national level must work together. So justice not pursuing at one level, but at all of them. There is no justice without reparations, which was reiterated many times, and that we should look at justice in a holistic way, retribution and repair. Also mentioned was the sexual gender-based violence, the importance that this must be included in transitional justice processes so that the voice of the victims of this serious crimes are heard. Transitional justice as the art of the possible. And that's also an interesting thought about transitional justice should also be possible when conflict is still ongoing. We heard about open source collection of evidence. This is what we, in fact, want to do in the next month, more together with our colleagues from the region. Open source information is now an instrumental part of accountability mechanisms. I like that sentence, which is also to admit the traditional means of investigation are still very valid, very important, but that now we can really claim that we can add there's the new technological part of it, which also is part of accountability mechanism. The risk, we talked about it, the biases, the deep fakes, privacy, security concerns, and then the last part, the domestic justice for international crimes, Kenya example, that the International Crimes Act and the first crimes against humanity case, which is right now before the courts, she said, let's do it right, with that first case of crimes against humanity in Kenya. We ended our conversation with the double standards and kind of, I think, all agreed, they still need to be addressed, that there is a necessity to always hear both sides, that Ukraine deserves all this justice, but other countries too. Regarding the new momentum, I think we also mentioned that the ICC now is looking also at other countries. So a few years ago, we all complained only African countries. Now we have other countries, and that we really need to strengthen the domestic system to have that holistic approach. And I think then the last conversation really left us with this thought of let's create our own standards and make them work. And with this, I want to finish, want to thank you, and want to just say the last question was, how do we continue? We really want to continue this. This is not a one-off. We have also quite a few journalists sitting here, so we will accompany them in their reporting about this event and the topics raised at that event. This is a commitment not for just a day, but for quite some time now from our side, and also our commitment to continue looking into the new forms of evidence and open source investigation together with our colleagues in the room. And I really want to say thank you for the Wayamo team. Please an applause for all the Wayamos. Big applause, please, for Aga Khan University, the support we got from them. Thank you so much. And for sure, all our international guests, Catherine, Serge, Nema, who came to this event. And thank you so much, AGJA members, to come, Idris from London. So thank you for coming to this event. And I think we'll prepare a nice report because so many ideas have been developed here. Thank you very much. And yeah.